starting this one off by letting you know that this is just sort of a decoy for TikTok. Basically, I just wanted these two batteries out of this, but I also have another project in mind for this setup. So, that's also one for TikTok. So I thought, to stay inclusive of that, I started off by pulling that apart so that I've got the bit for TikTok, and then I'm taking these batteries out for this drift cart. I tried it out with lipos that I use for my drones yesterday, and it works all right with that. So now I'm going to try it out with proper sized batteries, and if it works well with that, I'm going to modify the drift cart so that I can actually play with it today using these batteries. And then, of course, at the end of that, I will be working on this project. And the idea with this project is basically just chop the handlebars off and make it completely remote controlled with a small joystick controller. And I'm really hoping, now I haven't mentioned it in the TikTok because I don't know if I can do it, but I'm really hoping that as well as being able to control it with that little controller, that'll have Wi-Fi and you can control it with your phone, as well as having more advanced features like a cruise control and, turn on and off the lights and stuff. But who knows what's actually going to end up happening with that. But that's the future of this. 100% remote controlled, very simple idea and design, hopefully. And also, super minimalistic. I'm going to try have like 0 wires showing, and I'm going to try and be really efficient with the ways that I set things up so that it's strong and durable as well. Okay, this is for testing purposes only, so sorry for the crotch shot. Oh my gosh. Anyway, let's unplug one of the batteries. Either negative doesn't matter, they're both connected anyways. This is a nice sharp bit of this box cutter, that's for sure. Gosh, that is slicing through like it is absolutely nothing. So it's so I'm just shaving open this cable so that I can essentially just shove these pins into it, and hopefully they'll hold on long enough that I get a gauge of whether or not this is a good idea. And by good idea, I simply just mean whether or not this actually works. So if these batteries are good enough to run this, then I'll probably just make well, I do plan on changing out these cables a bit, so I'll probably, can I pull this apart? Oh, see, that's unfortunate, because that means I want to keep as long a cable on this as possible. So I'm just going to have to make whole new cables for these, so that's not much of an issue. I don't know why I'm being so delicate with it then, though. But, get my feet up, plug her in, keep those two away from each other, gosh. Just more or less shoving it into the wires there. Same with this. My goodness. She's pretty sparky over here. Alright. Let me just move this backwards a little bit. Okay. Just a little touch going forwards. Okay. Let's have a bigger test. make a test. Well, actually, here, look at that. I'll bring you with me. Now, these things are not made to go in reverse, so this is actually kind of difficult. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Ooh, ow! Got my foot stuck between that and the table. Right, let's see. Let's see. Go. It's definitely a lot more consistent, but not as high a top speed as when I've got it with the lipos. But I definitely think that's worth a try. I'm gonna go make up some custom little connectors for this, but I've also got to move this seat forward. I'm having to really reach forward. I want to be further. Maybe I want to be up here. Yeah. So basically, where the front of the seat is right now is where I want the back of the seat to be, which means that these batteries are going to be able to be on this stand back here. I'll be able to tie them down. So this is actually going to work out quite well. So I might have to, I'm probably going to have to figure out the seat part first, how I'm going to move that forward so dang far. In fact, I don't think it can actually move as far forward as what I was indicating, but, you know, I'll put it forward as far as I possibly can. And the back is just going to be for the batteries. Yeah. That's just far too long, this guy. I mean, I got it from a really tall guy, so that's part of the reason why it's so gosh darn long. Here we go. Where's the battery at? Oh, your battery's about to die. So in that case, I think what I will do is I'll just quickly put this away, and I'm going to go inside. I'm going to solder up some wires for the batteries. That's a little more proper for that. And I'll grab some new batteries for this camera. The camera was acting funny when I made these, and I was just about to repair the camera when it started working fine. Anyway, so this is the link that will be going between the two batteries. It is twice as thick as the main cable. This is the cable that will be connecting to each of the batteries, and this is what will be connecting to the main motor controller. Right, now we've got to work on moving that seat. So I guess I've sort of got to figure it out. What else is in my pockets? Oh, yeah. Oh, this is just a board that's been taped in there. You know what? I think this is going to be a bit easier than I thought. I'm going to take out this little board here, then I'm going to undo the bolts that are holding these two things to this frame, move it up here, draw a marker where the bolts line up, drill a new hole, chuck the batteries on the back, and we're away and cooking. Now this is a mudguard, I know that. I'm not getting rid of it, but I am adjusting things a bit. And it's in my way. Oh, gross. At least it's all the same color tape though. Okay, so that's gotten the controller and... Oh yeah, you had to put a hole in there for that. So that's gotten the controller and the wires out of the way for now. I almost want to tidy up this other wire, but I'm not up to that yet. I hate the noise it makes. What is this? Output, 250 watt. Oh, I got an 800 watt thing. What does this say? Voltage, 24 volts. Yep. I'm listening to you. I'm doing as I'm told, and I'm giving you the correct voltage this time. Because before, I was giving it 30 volts. So, don't want this to get too damaged. This is just the easier way to work on it. Upside down and over like this. Okay, now you can get a slightly better look here. So undo this bolt, move it forward, and then the batteries will slap on up here since it's got a lot more strength. Right. Whoa. Wonder if I could do it just without a seat. Let's give that a go. Okay, so these batteries, one can sit there. Oops. And one can sit there. Alright, so sitting like that. Let's put something there, and this is going to be easy. Here, you can watch this. Let's see. Oh. So just sitting here on this, like this, I have instantly realized that the seat is quite a crucial part of this build. So I am now going to reinstate the seat and do that connection before I put these batteries on, because it'll be just really annoying afterwards. can't remember the last thing I showed, but it's the afternoon now. So I'll come back now. Alright, so the seat is on and it's in place. It definitely feels like a better place for the seat to be. And so next I just need to strap on the batteries on the back, run the cable up, make sure the cables and stuff are secure, and give it a go. Now here I'm quite literally pausing and unpausing as I go, because remember, it's minimal editing. Don't want to be editing silly little sequences and stuff, you know. A voiceover, that may even just be too much editing. I don't know. There we go. Got the gross hand grip for the handle. So now that feels a little more real, I guess. This is a bit bent. I might need to adjust that because it does sit me quite low. No, that would be horrible. It's gonna have to be like that. Yeah. I'll strap it in. I don't have any straps in here. Perfect. It's not going anywhere. I thought I'd bring you in closer for the final connections. Oh, that helicopter is so annoying. It's always interrupting my stuff. Okay, now, I'm not 100% sure what the best method is to make this connection, and as soon as I connect it, the whole circuit's live because I don't have a shut-off thing. Oh, so I'm gonna actually, adjust myself a bit so I'm not putting so much pressure on my ankle. And go, that works, kind of. So, anyway, if there's any danger at all, this is where the danger is, just because, it's got a startup current thing, it's going to make a bit of a spark, and, I don't know, I just don't want to get hurt. It's only a small spark, though. Not really one to fret about, not one that'll kill you, as far as I know. But there's always some risk. I'd rather not get shocked. Right. Looks like it's time to give this little thing a for you. Yeah, let's just sit there. Oh, I need to cut off that extra bit of cut there. Cut there. Cut there. I should have brought out the wireless mic. Oh well. I'm not saying anything important. Wouldn't worry. All right. Oh, struggling. It felt like a pretty sad lead up, to be honest. I fully expected this thing to just be like full speed backwards, full speed forwards. No, it's dumb. That'll be because the wire going between the batteries and the front here, I mean, it's not big enough or anything. I was hoping I could get away with not caring. So I'm going to see how close I can move the batteries. Be able to fit them under here somehow. And then I'll give her another test. Let's try and reverse it a little bit. Not made to go backwards. Right, so both of these are going to go to the same thing. Take this off here. And on the negative side, it's going to be connecting directly to the battery. Man overboard. Give her a solid twisty twist. Even twist her this way. Twisty twist. Just gonna make it so it's holding on tight enough for the tests. Yep, that's good enough. I'll put some tape on it eventually. Let's see. Set these back to back. Where'd that tape go? Tape, 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 tiny bit of tape. Is this tape enough? Man, I probably actually should have used a lot thicker cables, especially between the two batteries. Like, I've got access to them, I've got some. I just couldn't be bothered. It's a lot of effort to solder up big thick cables like that. I don't quite have the tools for something so large. I'm better equipped for, I'm going to say, reasonably sized cables. Alright, now all I need to do is just attach it. So I'll hop on. Yeah. Rightio. Papa Joe. Whew. Right, I think that'll stay on. So let me just pick you up for a sec. Let's give this a quick little test toost. I mean, it's much better than it was. I think I'm going to have to go through the effort of making a bigger cable. But not right now. Don't feel like it. I mean, heck, I put a 800 watt controller on it, and that's only a 250 watt motor, and it's also very loud. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make some changes. Okay, I did a couple speed runs with this, up and down the drive and then up and down the road, and I don't know, like the cables are heating up and it's just got no power, you know? I had way more power in this cable where I had like my lipos on it. But that being said, whilst having more power, I also had a higher voltage, which is not good for it, but well, the last controller didn't complain about it, so I'm going to try it again. Put my batteries on charge and see how well it holds up. Main port issue. What's going wrong here? Issues. Issues. Okay, so there's a port issue, which I think I know what it is. I guess if I quickly fix it properly, I don't have to deal with it again later. Oh, just need to quickly solder the pin back on. I guess I pulled it kind of hard and damaged it. That's my bad. Actually, it can come right off. I'll put a new one on. Oh, there goes the guy with the motorcycle. Making me sound like an old man for complaining, but man, just rips up and down the road all day and night. It gets a bit tiring. Like, it's so loud. I guess I'm, a little more sensory sensitive, but it's just too loud. Hurts my head. That's why I like electric. Like, the next thing I'm doing with this, I can't find the color I want. The next thing I'm doing with this drift trike is going to be making it as quiet as possible, because you can hear right now it's loud as all things, So my next goal is to change out the chain tensioner. Sorry, I'm just trying to quickly throw you over here. Yeah, that's good enough for now. Alright. Oh, look at that. That is shocking. I expect better from a manufacturer. Put some flux on that. Now, just get some solder already on the soldering iron. Jeez, making me triple think here. Oh, gotta get my heat shrink on there. Oh, it's a massive piece, but it's fine. Alright. Heat transfer in place. Heating, come on. I'm giving her all she's got, Captain. Oh, that's my fingers you're heating up there now. I need that thing to heat up, not my fingers. Come on. Ouch. Ugh, no wonder people don't do the very good job of this. This part sucks. Drip. Okay. Get some solder on the actual connector. Oh, how did I not put any solder on here just then? Don't copy me. This is not healthy. Heavily stress-inducing. And also the chemicals are not necessarily great for you to breathe in either. Right, now I've just got to try and heat up this area. Ow, that is getting too hot for my comfort. I'll heat up this area. It's almost like welding. I'm just trying to fill in all the gaps. Especially because I'm not getting a proper solder going on here, so I'm doing more bridging than I would like to admit. But I am not bad at it. Maybe better bridgers than me, but I am a bridge. Oh yes, you can see. Oh, it looks terrible. I'm not showing you, sorry. Wait, I want that on. Do some heat shrinking. I know I should be using a lighter or something, but I don't have one on me. Heat gun. Takes like a minute or two to set up. Can't be bothered with that. Right, now I can get this battery on the charge. Now the cable's hot, but that's fine. It will add a little bit of resistance to the circuit, but it's on charge and it's going to take a while, so it's going to cool down by the time it would be an issue. With all that in mind, that does mean I need to take the batteries off of this, put them back on this, and well, that'll let that project sort of simmer away. There's a fair number of things I need to take off of it just entirely, but the thing I need to get done basically next is figure out the resistance and position of this trim pot at the top here, because this is what controls the forward and backwards. Oh, I do that fast enough and it'll actually power it for a sec. Because this is what does the forward and back, and I need to move that down into the back here. But you know, I don't want to screw it up. I did another little test earlier and found that it is very, very sensitive as to the exact position of it. It has to be exactly where it expects it to be, or else the system will not power on. It's a safety feature, but it's really annoying. I understand it though. It's a safety feature. It's still annoying. So now that the batteries are being dropped off just over there, I'm just waiting on the other batteries to charge for this. I'll take it for a little blat around, see how it feels, see how I still feel. Because I think I might be upgrading these casters at the back. They're a touch too small, and it's not lifting it off the ground far enough, so it keeps scraping. It just takes away from the experience. Oh, why did I turn the camera back around? So yeah, that's what's going on there. Now and then I drop it a little too hard and it disconnects and deletes whatever video I was just working on. Anyway, so here's the other thing I'm going to do today. So I got a power meter for just to go in the... Oh, okay, this tells me which way it has to go as well. Sorry, I got distracted by looking at the power meter thing. So this is a power meter for my Home Assistant server. Currently I've got one, but it is running on Tuya. So it's Wi-Fi and it's running through a Chinese server. So I'm replacing it with this. This one's going to be running on Zigbee, and it'll be running on my own Home Assistant server. Now, before I actually go and set it up where it's meant to be, I am going to quickly make sure it's working. And also, you know, connect it to my Zigbee network. It says S1 and S2, but I don't know. That's a 1, and that's a K? Oh, wait. It's a K and an L? I don't know, but this is something that is should be reasonably easy to reconfigure, so I'm not overly worried about it, or at least not at this stage. I didn't undo it enough. I don't know why they gave it to me like this though. If you're gonna put something on the end, just put a proper plug or something. I put one of those ones that fork out. They're a lot nicer to connect for this sort of thing. So we don't need any earth, because at the end of the day all this is doing is just measuring the voltage and measuring the power passing through, going into your house. So I'm not overly concerned about the earth right now. Now, is this a button? No? Oh, that's a button. Okay, and it says it's bi-directional, so I guess that's good. So I'll just plug it in, turn it on, started blinking red, now it's just solid red. Let's go into Home Assistant and see if I can find this. Devices, Zigbee, add, search. Oh, whoops, wrong one, yeah, add Zigbee device. Okay, so it's searching. So I'm guessing I just got to hold this button down. That's the usual protocol to turn it into pairing mode. Okay, it's got a fast blinking light. Oh my gosh, anyway, fast blinking light. It's already connected up, ready to use. So now I will do, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to change everything over because I've got a panel that gives you estimates on the power bill. I'll figure it out later. So this device will be main power monitor. I'll put Zigbee on the end, just because I think that's what the current power monitor is called, main power monitor. But cool, so that's been added. Now let me look at it as a device. Main power monitor Zigbee says up to date. It's actually not showing anything. That's okay, so now I'll just turn it off. Give it a few seconds, turn it on. That's got a blinking light on it, so I'm gonna double check the thingy. What does blinky light mean? Well, because this is a 2-year device by the looks of things, which means it is not showing all the details there. Yes, yes. When the end number of the current value shows 0, it reports as consumed kilowatt hours. If the end number is 1, then it reports as generated kilowatt hours. Oh, okay, yeah, so that's how it sets the flow. But the problem here is you're going to blinky light. What does blinking slowly mean? Maybe I should have looked in a community post to make sure that this is actually working with Home Assistant, because it sure as hell ain't working right now. Blinking slowly, it's not doing nothing. Got no fingernail. Okay then, let's just shove you in between here then. How's that? You detecting a flow yet? I mean, I'm not getting any data from it at all. All it's telling me is the firmware is up to date. So let's just check this out. 2-year Zigbee. What is it called actually? There we go. Bidirectional meter. Home Assistant. A simple yet very accurate net measuring gadget which was recently added to Zigbee to MQTT. It's not invasive with a wire. Gone and brought similar unit to this, except 2 clamps. Yeah, 2 faces, got someone at home. Okay, so these people are just connecting and not having any issue at all, and I'm connecting it and having an issue. And devices via this device. Manage Zigbee device. Attributes. Date. Cluster. Generic. Model. Power source. Maybe that'll do it. Power source. What's that give me? It doesn't give me a dang thing. Value main single. Oh, okay. So there are some things I can send to it and get data. Main single phase, product code, none, product label, none, product URL, none, reporting status, attribute reporting status is pending. Okay, serial number, none, stack version, 0, build version, none, Zigbee version, 3. Oh, great, thanks. Yeah, I get one thing. But it doesn't look like... No, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Neighbors. What's that? So sometimes with these sorts of things, like, they've got to actually do their job before they'll accept that they're working. See, I don't really have bare cables and stuff around like that, so I don't quite get the opportunity. Oh, I might be able to do this one. If we just squeeze it in there. Okay. Is it showing that it's even connected though? What if I do this? Yep. And then run reconfiguration. I've put it in pairing mode. Okay, what if I add device then? Are you going to show up now? Okay, turn it off. And then turn it on. And it starts blinking pretty much straight away. Which basically tells me it's not working properly. Only problem with that is just because it's not working properly for me right now doesn't mean it doesn't work. Plus it's a stupid freaking what is it, 2-year device. So what if I do Zigbee? That's not how that works. Well, it's not giving any more information. What if I restart the server? Yeah, because that's always a good idea. If a small device on it isn't working. restart the entire server. Anyway, sorry, I want to stop recording now. Alright, just had a quick little shave, and batteries are finished charging for now, so coming out to grab the old rough strike. Drag it out here backwards. It doesn't like being dragged backwards, that's for sure. Alright, now I'll sit on it, hook up the batteries. Oh, I kind of need some tape. There's some tape. Right, sit on it, and I'm going to hook up the batteries. Good enough. All right. I'm used to just being silent when I do stuff like this, because well, usually it's for TikTok, so I end up just doing a time lapse just to quickly get through it, trying to keep people engaged and paying attention, you know. Anyway, tape that wire up to that. Just gotta force it to go where I want. Alright, let me just put the camera down like that. Now, hook up the batteries and we're good to go. Ready? 1 and 2. Oh, a little sparky spark, but that's okay. Donald Trump was driving anyway. Now just adjust some other little poppy boop, boop. Move that over there, and now ready and go. That was a terrible demo for you, but now you see the capability of this little doodad. Let me feel the wires. Oh, a little bit hot. It's not ideal. This steering wheel sucks, but almost flipped it. This is working a lot better than the rated stuff. Now I just need to make it quieter. Mail. Oh, it's not important. Hoo-wee! Man, that little drift truck, it is hella fun. But man, these batteries, my lipos, these tiny weeny little lipos, they just don't hold enough charge in them to really give me a good running. But so far so good, loving it, it's fun. I highly recommend. So today actually started out quite promising. I had got an ESP32 board, and I was able to program it and do stuff. Well, that's where it started going wrong actually. See, the problem is I wasn't able to program it and I wasn't able to do stuff. So I spent the last 6 hours on YouTube researching, going through lots of different builds and ideas that other people have made and how they've done things, and I tried copying a couple of them and forcing it to work the way I wanted it to work specifically with my thing. And it's been a long, difficult process. I began to think maybe I should have just, built it from scratch myself rather than trying to find someone else that had more or less already done the project for me. So now I'm more or less building the project from scratch myself. I found a very basic project that works, it's able to connect, and it's able to actually send data to this, and I ended up deciding that I'm just going to go with the ESP32 cam, because then it's, you know, live streams a camera image, and it also had a UI that wasn't bad, sort of more fit what I was going for. There's going to be a lot of changes and stuff that I'm going to have to make just to make sure that this works how I want, as well as starts to look how I want. Oh, right now, I'm just on the test bench. I'm going to be connecting a few servos to this and connecting it to power. And I'm going to be testing sort of the latency and stuff in the controls. And then I'm going to be slowly making little iterations on top of that, and hopefully keep my code nice and tidy while still being able to program this, make it do all the different things I want it to do. I more or less only need to add some I/O button controls. There's going to have to be less than I initially planned for. Oh wow, this actually doesn't have a whole lot going on with it. Maybe I'll change back to the ESP32 board rather than trying to use this camera board, which, by the looks of things, I can connect an external aerial. So that's a really good useful part of this, is that it can have an external aerial so that I can get better range, and depending on where I want to install it, which is going to be underneath and in amongst some metal, so getting that extra range will be helpful. But currently the issue is I just need to spend some time and get a little more familiar with this code that I've finally chosen. I'm only going to be altering it very slightly, and now that I'm actually looking at this board closely, it may be even more slight than I initially thought. Well, it's that time of year again. Got a house inspection. Since we rent every 3 months, some dude comes in, makes sure we're taking care of the house to a satisfactory standard, and then he leaves for another 6 months or 3 months, depending on world events. Sometimes world events make a big impact. COVID was great. He skipped it out. Didn't have to do the large amount of cleaning we usually do. I mean, we still actually ended up cleaning up just in case, but not to the same extent. We clean up like we're going to be moving out or something. It's alright. Always good to give the place a good clean. Basically pretending like nobody lives here. Now, I've got a couple other projects I'm working on, and sadly I've been quite distracted by a fair number of different things that are going on. So it's been a while since I've actually posted anything. I still actually haven't taken off the footage from the camera for the first video like this. So I've still got no idea what these videos are going to be looking like. Not until I've edited it. And so I guess no effects of me seeing what it looks like are going to be really taking effect until the halfway through this, maybe even on the third video. Oh, But yeah, as I was saying, so I've been really distracted with other projects and stuff, and then I ended up, I say wasting, but I'm trying not to look at it negatively like that. But I spent like 3 days programming, and it ended up not working. At least it didn't work in the way it was programmed to work. I was just having a few issues. I was a little distracted, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, I've been a bit delayed on some of my projects, but hopefully after today I'll be able to put my focus back on a couple of those projects just to get them done and out of the way. I'm making I've got a project where I'm going to be making like the whole housing and everything. So there's some 3D modeling, lots of iterations. I might even have to buy a different 3D printing filament just to be able to achieve exactly what I'm going for. Like I'm wanting to basically make a belt pack, little belt pack, you know, just belt pack it on there. Uses Wi-Fi communications, and yeah, that's all I'm really sharing about it. Because of course, you know, I'll share more during that project time. But prior to it, I try not to share too much. I would rather just show results and do things. So I often just don't tell people I'm working on certain stuff. Because then once I tell them, I feel like I'm obligated to work on it, and then when I lose the effort and energy to work on it, at least if I haven't told anyone or anything, there's no expectation, so I'm able to just put something on the back burner, just leave it there. Like I've got an RC car that I'm meant to be building. I brought it 2 years ago. It's not a cheap RC car. I still haven't even touched it. It's moved around the room a couple times, but I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I'll get there. Just gotta build it, and then I'll finally have built it. It was like $300 or something. I bought it so long ago now. And it's not that I don't want to play with it and stuff. It's just that, well, I haven't had time. That's one of those ones I gotta build it up like from scratch. It's crazy. It's like adult Lego, you know? So I don't need to find the time and space to really get that mulled over and done. And then and keep working on the other projects, really. Because I spent, so what did I say? I spent like 2-3 days. So I spent that time working on the programming for the electric scooter. Oh wait, yeah, I'm fine with covering this sort of detail here. So the first day was, I guess, a little bit of research and a little bit of fiddling. So I was watching a few YouTube videos, seeing how some other people have programmed up their stuff, and seeing just, you know, all the available stuff for the protocols and the different communication system between the ESP devices. And so I was getting ChatGPT to help me out with a lot of stuff. And so I spent, I think, about an hour just sort of coming up with how it's going to process everything and what's it, just all the actions, what it does when I do this. If I push the trigger that way, it does this. If I push it that way, it does this. The logic, the basic stuff. The stuff I'd already programmed into my big expensive controller. Only thing is now I'm making the whole process completely, custom. I'm putting it together, DIY, whatever you want to call it. And where was I with that? Oh yeah. So I'm using ChatGPT to try to help me get through this process just a little bit faster. Take a slight intellectual shortcut because the rest of the process is still going to be just as long. That didn't work. So yeah, I ended up spending 3 days. So one day was probably just spent in the different ways I explained everything to GPT, or ChatGPT. And then basically the next 2 days was just spent different iterations, and man, ChatGPT is stupid. Didn't matter how hard I explained it, how many times I told it. I'm like, hey, one of these needs to be an access point so that the controller can connect to it. And then straight away, it's like, oh yeah, make sure they're connected to the same network. It's like, no, they're generating the network themselves. It's these two devices. I want them to talk directly to each other. But it was expecting, because they have Wi-Fi, that it was going to connect to a Wi-Fi network and be going through that, which means I'm limited to whatever my Wi-Fi range is. That's ridiculous. And if I wanted it connected to my home local Wi-Fi, I'd put some wireless cameras on there and stuff so I could control it remotely, which still wouldn't have a hell of a lot of range. So I've basically gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, I thought ChatGPT could be a little cheat code, get me through a few of the hardest steps. Well, not even the hardest steps, it's the tedious stuff of just simply typing out the code. So yeah, I don't know, I'll kick it old school or whatever, just manually do the coding and stuff myself, rather than wasting my time explaining to a machine of exactly what I want it to do. I think I'll still get its help though, just for a few logic checks and just for some syntax, but other than that, I don't really need to use the AI, because I know what I'm doing. I know exactly what I want it to do, and I know what the capabilities are of these little control units I got. It also probably didn't help that I just went, full into it right from the start. I was all of the features, every single thing that it was able to do, I chucked all of that explanation and everything in there, and maybe I just got overwhelmed. Maybe I got confused. Maybe I didn't explain it in a way that it was able to coherently understand, because I always double checked and always made sure that ChatGPT could explain everything I just said back to me in a way that I understand and in a way that makes sense, that sounds like it should work exactly as I expected it to. It didn't. I mean, it would tell me exactly what I was looking for, but man, it sucks at coding. I keep wanting to do things in small little steps, and I'd do it in the small little steps for a little bit, I'd humor it for a bit. And then eventually I'd just say, just give me the full set of code, and it would completely ignore me. So, yeah. So, yeah, hopefully I'll get onto that, because that will be a, I think that'll be a pretty neat little project. Oh, and I've also got a large piece of plexiglass, plastic, and I've taken out all of the steering and everything for that mobility scooter. Oh, sorry. Late night. And yeah, so I've taken it out as much as I can. I've still got a bar and a little bit that I'm going to cut off, because I'm going to essentially make it like, so it'll be like the seat area here, and then it's a floor, and it's just going to roll up and down with it, because there's no handlebars or anything. I was going to put the original front piece on, but then I was like, oh, it's cracked, it looks terrible, and it takes up a lot of space because it's expecting the whole steering system and stuff to be underneath it, which it's no longer going to be there. It has moved somewhat, slightly, moved down a little bit, so it's given me the extra space. So I've decided that I'm going to use that extra space and cut out a large piece of plexiglass. I also don't know how to cut out plexiglass, or I don't even know if I've got the tools to do it. But anyway, so that's I'm gonna say project 1, project A, and then project C is the belt pack thing that I was talking about. So that's just like a health monitoring device sort of thing. It'll make a lot more sense the closer to building it and completing it. I haven't entirely decided some of the aspects, because I was thinking about it and I was like, I could probably sell this idea. And by sell it, I mean, like, make the thing and sell it on like Etsy or whatever, because it's not like it's a very expensive thing. And the reason why I'm building one is because I've seen some alternatives online of what some companies have, and number one, all of the data goes through those companies' servers, and I would prefer my data not leave the house. Also, the data is, I don't know, maybe I'd want to look at the raw data. I don't really have a whole lot of reasons why I'm going to completely make it myself, other than I have a use case scenario. I want it to work in a very specific way, and that very specific way that I want it to work, nobody else has that, or at least not a public consumer company is offering it. So I'll just do it myself. Sometimes I find it that I just got to do it myself. And yeah, hopefully I'll even be able to make a little product out of it. Maybe I'll make $20 on the side if I'm lucky, if it gets popular, if enough people see this idea that I'm not even coming up with an idea, I'm not inventing anything new, I'm just taking an idea that already exists and stuff, that other people have already done, and oh, not down. There we go. It'll do. Yeah, I'm just taking an idea that other people have already done, they just haven't done it very well. Well, if you've got money and you're not really too fussed about like where your data ends up, then yeah, there are other products available if you're not concerned like that. But I'm not a big fan of data going places it doesn't actually need to go. So why does Why does any of this data need to leave the house? Why does me turning a light on, why does that data need to leave the house? Other for the fact that, you know, it's made to be simple so that anyone can work it. So rather than forcing people to have a server in their own house, the companies are letting people use their servers. But of course, there's going to be some extra data, extra information there that they're processing in order to make money. If you're given a free service, you're usually the product. This is usually only counting if it's, you know, from a company. There are a lot of solo entities and small non-profit businesses that, you know, are like-minded in the terms that, you know, they don't want your data. They want you to have a good product. Data is not their concern. They're not saving it up and they're not selling it. And and that's also, you know, half the reason I have a Home Assistant server is because, you know, I want local control. If I lose an internet connection, I don't want to lose functionality of the whole house. That'd just be ridiculous. So everything's as local as I can, and there are sensors and stuff that I've brought that, you know, work with all the local system and all that. But they just don't give, they just don't give the desired results. So again, building my own, because at least it's going to do what I want. Some of these settings are supposedly available in these other devices I've paid for, but you've got to use the proprietary application that communicates with their AWS servers. Just adds latency, and it also means that's just more data being sent out of the house, being processed, and then more data being sent into the house just to turn a light on. Ridiculous. You know, that all that data can just stay local. You know, they've got these companies with like Zigbee hubs and stuff. You know, if you're forced to have a Zigbee hub anyway, make it a decent hub so that it can process this data locally, so it doesn't need to actually leave your local network. Because a Zigbee hub, it takes in that Zigbee signal and then it sends it off to the AWS server, and then it processes it there and then it sends it back. It's a really simple process. 99% of the time, all that data needs to do is say, hey, button whatever was pushed, turn on whatever light. Done. Button whatever was pushed again, time to turn that light off. You know, it could be a toggle command that goes directly to the light. You know, use the app, tell that switch to tell that light. Then you've got the connection between that switch and the light. It doesn't need to go anywhere else. On my network, it goes between the switch, the server, and the light. But that still keeps everything in the house. Now, this is getting really long. It's probably going to mean that this is a large chunk of the video, and I'm already moving on to the third video. Still haven't even copied the files off for the first video. But there's my rant for the day. Thank you for watching. This isn't the end. So I'm currently backing up a couple 100 gig of footage that I shot today. I didn't really show much of that. The issue I do have, though, with copying this footage is that, well, you'll see here that the top one isn't copying. The bottom one is copying. See, it's gotten that far. The top one was halfway, but for some reason, my USB 3 controller in this computer it must be stuffed or something, because I can't seem to use this memory card reader at the same time as this one that's in the tower itself. I don't know if it's a cable issue. I've never had trouble with that cable before it was put in and used for this, but whenever that device is used for a little too long, it's just like, and stops working. But, you know, the thing is I can drop it down to USB 2.0 and it'll work fine. It'll be slow, but it'll work fine. So, yeah, I guess I'll just wait for this other 80 gigs to copy, and then I'll just I'll try again with it in that slot, and if it doesn't work, I'll move it into the other slot. But yeah, weird annoying issue. It's also pretty rare by the looks of things from what I've seen online, so yeah. There you go. This one working fine again. Now that the other one's finished copying all those files over. So that's what makes me think that the problem is, what is it, the south board or something on the motherboard, or the USB 3.0 controller, because this is plugged directly into the motherboard on the back of the computer, and this one is plugged directly into the motherboard using the connector for the front USB 3.0 pins. So they're both plugged directly into the motherboard. I mean, unless, you see, it's not consistent enough for it to really be anything else that I can think of, at least. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's an issue with the motherboard. One day I'll buy a new computer. But until then, the workaround is just copying it one thing at a time, which is really annoying, because the reason I obviously got multiple memory card readers is to copy multiple at a time. But it's not really a big issue, because a lot of the time I've got ample amount of time to actually copy the files over. So I'm not actually worried. It's not like it's a business. But it's still a little bit annoying, I guess. Okay, I swear I'm getting on to editing the first of these videos. This is currently the second, or maybe the third. I'm just going to quickly put together this video first, and I'm going to upload this to YouTube. So the version I upload to YouTube is going to be pretty much the raw files from the GoPro. I'll EQ it a little bit, and I'll probably have it skip over when there was a tractor and stuff in front of me. I mean, you could just go look at it right now, because it will already be on YouTube by this point. But just watching this, definitely got to deal with the audio issues. There's some bugs and stuff that get splattered on the lens, but I guess that's just how it is. And yeah, maybe I'll even add in the little map thing. Oh, isn't that a cool thing you can do? I think it's in the GoPro Studio. Dang it. So this USB memory card reader is doing its random disconnecting again. So it disconnected there, it disconnected there, disconnected there, now it's disconnected here. And honestly, I'm just gonna blame it on, I mean, I am starting to think it might just be the cable. Maybe the cable was a bit cheap. It is a third-party cable. And I know other people that have this memory card reader, and they stand by it. This is a very, very good reader in the eyes of a lot of other people, and I find it to be a really good reader as well. But over time, it's become less of a very, very good reader. But I think that might actually just be my computer's fault. It is a very old computer at this point. I mean, some parts in it are 8 to 10 years old. So, yeah. That keeps happening. Anyway, next files to copy are these files, including this one being made right now. Finally got all the stuff into Premiere. Look at that, 67.3 gig. And I'm not shooting in a very high quality file. Let's have a look at this. Details. There we go, it's the details.
I'm shooting at 50 frames. I could easily do this at 25, but I don't know. In case I even need a random slow-mo motion moment. Sorry, slow-mo moment. But yeah, nice, simple, small files. Okay, I've got the auto transcribe in Premiere going, and it says it's gonna need a couple hours. So, I don't know, I guess I'll just leave that for a couple hours. By the way, the opening shot, because I'm obviously not giving any sort of context, is this camera running on two ESP32... No. It's this camera running on two 18650 batteries, and the camera is not able to read from those batteries because Panasonic locked some bit off so that it wouldn't work with anything but its own batteries, which is fine. So I've just got two 18650 batteries attached to the bottom of the camera, and then I just hit record, left it running. I know this camera itself can just continuously record because it just splits the files up. And yeah, so I wanted to see how long it could run on a single pair of batteries. So easiest thing to do was just aim it at a multimeter and let it sit. And that's the intro to the series. Oh gosh, no one's gonna make it past the intro. It's this intro bit is like almost a minute 20 long. I might have to speed this up a bit more. I'll try and make it maybe like 10 to 20 seconds long rather than a minute 15. Just jump in, view all, grab it, right click speed duration. Let's just make everything 1,000 times, which made it all very much smaller. Bring it all down. I still don't actually know how long the first episode of this is going to actually be, but I have a feeling it's going to be kind of long. Anyway, so that's set to 1 with 2 with 4 zeros. What if I just set this? I want to set this to 10 seconds. Oh. Alright, she's freezing up on me. Even though nothing's really being slammed at all. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it alone so it doesn't actually crash and burn. Okay, I thought just for fun, since I've got a handful of time lapses in this first video, I'm gonna try and make it a thing that, you know, I'll just make up a little jingle on the spot, and hopefully that's good enough as background audio to actually be satisfactory. Anyway, time to hit record. I'm going to record onto this channel. Oh, I don't have a seconds timer. Why that can count in seconds? It's alright, just do it. I guess. Forgot this. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yeah, let's see how that goes. Oh my gosh, I hope it actually works out. I was just trying to keep it simple so that I didn't have to worry about beat matching or anything. And obviously I need a lot more gain. So let's see where we are from the start. Oh, it's... do 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 Okay, yeah, so that's my loop essentially. And oh my, okay, let's move this, line up the very first note. Okay, I've only lined up the first note. And oh, okay, my bad. So the camera just died, and I'll admit I didn't pause it straight away, but oops, that's all right. As long as you can hear it. Ready? I'm playing it. This is the second time I'm hearing it. I don't hate it. It's going to be very difficult for me to not make the very small changes it would take to actually, you know, help sync everything up properly. But here it is. Here it is. You judge. You judge. Oh, that is embarrassing. So I'm going to put it at the very beginning of the video. Oh yeah, don't like it? Well, we'll put it at the start. Come on, Premiere. There we go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, and it intrudes onto the video a little bit.
Right, welcome to file number 1.
Actually, that's the perfect intro, I guess. You know, that's the background music. Fernando's. That's alright, I'll just make this time lapse last longer. What is that, 12 seconds I wanted it? A little bit more than that, okay.
Right, welcome to file number 1 of...
Oh, I need to cut that bit off, and... Okay, I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut it. Make it a little bit shorter. It's an odd 3 bars. That is... It might drive some people freaking absolutely nuts. Okay, I can't tell how my timing has gotten out like this. But I am medicated. Oh my, I am going to keep that sound in there. Okay, and I'm gonna heavily chuck, let's see, heavily compress it. Limit, take that up, C, Control V. Oh, I don't know how this is going to sound. This might hurt. I'll turn it down. Oh! I've exploded the amp! Okay, I might show you what I'm doing here. So all I'm doing is I've just got 2 dynamic processors running in line with each other, except in, this one, I've just got the gain set to 44. I'll set it to 4. And let's see what happens. Oh, it did not make a happy sound. Okay, let's just delete one of them. So now it's only running through 2 dynamic processors, the one that's on the channel, and this one. Okay, I like some of the sounds that were in there. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. We don't need it. But this is the very first video, the very first time lapse, and the very first time I'm making one of these. So it's got to be terrible. Great. Alright, I'm going to chuck it on a different channel. I'll give it a hard limiter as well. I don't want it freaking spiking anywhere over, let's say, minus 9.8 dB. Let's see. Okay, Now I need to get a... I don't know. I'll just chuck this on it. I'm not sure what it'll do. I'm going to get this channel mixer and just add both channels to each other. What is this doing? Some threshold stuff. Yep, sounds good. Look at that.
Welcome to
Okay, and it still sounds a bit dumb. Let's chuck a de-esser in there really early. Oh, we'll get some modulator chorus, and we'll put that after the hard limiter, and then near the end I'm going to put denoise before the chorus and then de-hum after the flange. Let's see what happens. It's a little it's a little too much for the system to process. I did kind of stack them on. I haven't checked any of the settings of it. All right, just take a few seconds here. Oof. Oh, looking like a solid 30 seconds. I should have just muted the video. Hopefully it's smart enough that, I won't have to keep redoing this. Ah, crap, no, it's not gonna be. I sort of need it to render out the audio first, since it's a sped up thing. And then putting the effects on it will probably be a lot lighter on the processing. Okay. I got it. Yes, you can't do it. So we're going to have the important ones. Dynamic processing is a definite. Hard limiter, also a definite. I'm going to get rid of the flange. I'm going to get rid of de-hum. I'm going to leave multiband processor in there for a sec. Let's see. No, not good enough. What is this even set to? It's set to 40. So let's go something like that. Drop it to 13. Channel mixer's got to stay because it only records in one. Oh, I mentioned it. I said it already in there, but I guess I'll say it again. I've got one channel for the microphone on the camera, and then I got another channel for my Rode wireless microphone. Just in case I go outside. Very unlikely, but it's just in case. So, hide the de-esser. See how that goes now. Okay, so it was the denoiser that didn't help much. So we can't denoise that. What's the de-hummer going to do? Nothing, because it doesn't really hum. Hard limiter should probably be last. And anyway, so let's bring back the chorus. See what I do. Aggressive, heavy, high, metallic. Let's go for smooth. Because I obviously... I can't listen to it at all. And I'm doing one export of this. The only reason I'll do a sequential export is because something has gone majorly wrong. If there's only a small problem with it, then I'm not going to re-export or anything. So fingers crossed. And then I'm going to put a little welcome. Yeah, this is how this whole thing starts. Oh, those are meant to be on different. Oh, don't hate me for this, but I'm just being lazy here. So rather than redo anything, I'm just gonna draw a box around it. And it's not even a tidy box. Look at this. This isn't not a box. It's just got 4 sides. But nobody will ever know. And it doesn't matter. Oh, crap. You know. Anyway, that's it. If you want to see what the other time lapses hold, the little songs I'm going to do on there, I'm going to put in just as little effort, and you'd have to have watched it to see it. But there is one long time lapse here. That's going to be interesting. I might not even, you know what? I'm not going to finish this today. Tomorrow I'll do another time lapse, so it's different energy, different everything. Then the next one. Then I think there's one there, and then I've got that one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the 5th one is the biggest of the all. And look at this. This is 2.5 hours. This is, oh my God. I don't know how long the episode you're watching right now is, but I swear I'm going to try and get these trimmed down a little more. I'm going to be less boring, I hope. P.S. Up and coming, very interesting project. I really can't. I can't wait to start this, but I'm just working on some things right now. I'm going to get past that. Then I'm going to work on that. I'm going to be using Tinkercad. I don't need to show you that. I'm going to be using Tinkercad, and I'm going to be building this thing. And it's one of those projects where I want to keep it slightly secret just because of something else it has to do in life. But, releasing it is going to be a dead giveaway. Anyway, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Also, did you like the color of those, the words that I put on the screen? This bit of a purpley color. This isn't a preset or anything like that. I just picked some random stuff, made some random settings, and then I came to love it. It's, I think it looks nice and retro. And I'm going to be honest, just from what I've watched of this, it feels old and retro, just the way it's shot. Like an AGR, cinematic horror. Like, you think there's some secret to this or something, but I swear there's nothing behind it. None of this is planned, and if you'd watched it, you'd see I'd be getting partway through something, and then poof, you'd never hear about it again. Which means it's either a finished video on TikTok or something, or I've forgotten about it. Because watching this has actually reminded me about some things that I'm going to get to. So I'm going to leave this alone. I'm going to leave this alone now and move on to something else. Okay, so I've spent a crazy long time working on this bit of code. So I know initially I said that I was going to use a second ESP32 and have it just hooked up to this little joystick, but I was doing some cleaning today and I found an old broken Xbox controller where the left trigger, it's broken and bung. It doesn't work. But everything else on it works perfectly fine. So while it's not useful for gaming, it's going to be quite useful for, well, this trigger could quite easily control the throttle, as well as, of course, steering. Steering is, of course, this stick. Sorry, I actually said that in a confusing way. Now, it may look like it's doing the wrong thing, but I'll explain in some other time, but it's doing the right thing. Anyway, so this is accelerate forwards. Ready? Whoa, full forward. And then hold down the left bumper to put it into reverse. So left bumper held down. Right now it just inverts things, and then accelerate and see, look. Whee. Okay, anyway. And so I've done all of the coding and stuff here, as you can see. So this is all the coding to get all of it working, because there's a bunch of other buttons and other stuff that's going on as well. You know, everything will be in the TikTok video that I end up making about it. Of course, let me know down in the comments if you want that video or details in this. But yeah, so I've spent a lot of time on the coding, and so the last thing that I need to figure out and make work is I want it so that when you press the A button, that it'll just sort of lock the accelerator there, because like otherwise, you know, you're trying to like hold it there, look at that wiggle around like that. And that's partly due to me wiggling my finger around, because I can't hold it very steady. So I want to be able to be like, okay, this is good speed, press A, and then it just, you know, holds that speed, and then I only need to worry about steering it. What else? What else can I say? Spent way too long on this. Ah, man, what a wild day. I was expecting to spend, I don't know, 2-3 hours on this tops. No, all dang day. Anyway, the good news is I could literally take the board out and hook everything up right now, assuming everything was ready for it to be hooked up, and it would all work perfectly fine except for that hold the acceleration button. And the more I think about it, the more I think, do I really need that? I'm going to be going full speed the whole time anyway. I could almost change it so that that button just locks it on to full speed, which would be far, far easier. I don't know. Something to think about. That's probably all I'm going to do on that. By the way, whoa, what the heck? I can see the ground. Look at that. I can walk around. Whoa. Don't need to look down where I'm jumping, because I can see the whole floor. That's right. This is the first time in potentially a year that I've been able to see the whole floor, at least there. You know, over there, that still needs a lot of work. But in front of these drawers, yes, I mean, I need new drawers. All of them are falling apart, and they're so full that they can barely close as it is. But the plastic bits that hold it up, they're breaking, so they just fall downwards. Anyway, sorry, it's already getting a bit long, isn't it? I know that first vlog was crazy long. But yeah, so this is the first time I've been able to actually walk there for a little while. Could do with a vacuum, but yeah, I ended up getting distracted and spending most of the day, beyond most of the day, working on this code. I did work on it a little bit yesterday, and I've been, you know, making notes and stuff on my phone as time's been going on. But I mean, heck, you know, I got the far bulk of the code done and out of the way, as well as the bulk of the build done and out of the way. So only things I actually need to do next that I could list is calibrate. No, that would be last. I don't know, this isn't in order, but I got to calibrate the throttle control because of how picky that thing is. Calibrate the throttle, calibrate steering, of course. put it all together. Do the plexi bend. I need to buy a grinding disc for the grinder because I need to cut off a bit of metal. But I also don't know how to undo the thing on the grinder because I lost a special tool, and I'm obviously too tired to be doing this kind of thing. But yeah. Oh man, I haven't done this much code writing in a long time, but I just really wanted to make sure it worked. Because that controller, even on its own, initially I did try just to fix it entirely. And then, of course, I suddenly realized, I was like, hey, wait a minute, I've got a project where that doesn't really matter. So yeah, that's great. There were some very painful parts of this project, though. Like, oh man, it did my head in. I mean, I've got 4 different drafts of just this code. That's not counting the code I was trying to use before that and the code I was trying to use before that. I bounced through a couple different bits of code because some of it would get a little bit of it working, but it wouldn't get all of it working, and some of it needed some dependencies which kind of messed with some other ones' dependencies just because they're both kind of similar but have completely different ideas and ideologies around them. So the naming and everything was different, which made everything just die. So that was tough. Like, I was going right into those library managers and reading all of the stuff in there so I could see exactly what information needed to be where, what, how, and how it could interpret it. I mean, that's overcomplicating it, I'm sure. I'm sure there's someone out there that would look at this and be like, that's so easy, and half of that is irrelevant. In which case, please, what have I got done wrong? Like, this is a wild... Okay, I'm going to settle down and stop recording because I'm obviously tired. I'm going to go buy some snacks. I'm going to have some snacks and then watch some YouTube. Tomorrow I have very little time to work on this project, but I will be near Bunnings, so I might be able to pick up those discs. Also, editing that video number 1, the first one. I'm really slack with it. I'm sorry. I did right up to what you saw I did last time, and then I was like, camera's not rolling. I'm gonna go do something else and chill out a bit. And then, of course, because of that, I forgot about it. Didn't end up doing anything, and now it's been 4 days since I've even looked at the project file. So let's just say we're not moving at full speed here, but things are slowly getting done. I'm slowly chipping away at little things as I go along, which I know isn't great for viewership and stuff, but I mean, it is what it is. I'm just doing all of this for fun. This is purely because I'm like, hey, I want to do that. And then so I'm doing it. I mean, yeah, I've changed my plan in my mind about this a billion times. For 2 reasons, though. 1, because I hadn't started it yet, so I still had the freedom and luxury of that plan evolving. And 2, because I hit some roadblocks. So whilst programming this into a pretty conventional RC thing is minorly easy, the way I was trying to implement things, I was using some of the wrong methods. I was overthinking some of it. There probably were points where I got really close with a couple of bits of code, and then I just couldn't figure out how to break past that little wall I was stuck behind. So then I was like, stuff it. I'm going to move on. I want to try some other code. And I mean, bouncing through the different bits of code and stuff that I've tried has... it's great for learning the syntax of things, and I've enjoyed reading through it, and it's actually really helped me understand some other bits of code that I was clueless about, at least at the start of the day.
So it was, yeah, quite fun. It's been quite an enjoyable journey, but there were some frustrating parts. Anyway, I'm going to stop right now because if I don't, I'm just going to keep on talking, and that's the exact problem that I'm having right now. Okay, I can't remember what the last update was, but I've programmed this chip here. So basically, in your computer, there are a couple of wires that go to the front of the box so that you can push the power button and the light comes on, and there's that other blinky light to say that it's busy doing stuff or thinking. So this is going to go in place of that button and stuff so that I can turn my computer on via Home Assistant. Of course, I'm not going to do it first with my main computer. I'm probably going to do it with my server that's over here. Just because it's, it's built out of a whole lot of random parts, if I'm completely honest. And it's, what is it? I think it's got 4 2 terabyte drives in it. Pretty small. So I'm going to test it out on that computer first, because I don't want to damage my computer. Oh yeah, actually, since I've changed my idea about this project, I'm going to leave this one out purely because it's already got a little circuit on there for the relay. I'm just going to copy this circuit. I should just know these circuits off by heart, and I do. I know exactly how that's wired in. I just like to double check myself against something that I've already done that is already working. Well, that means I can put a couple of ESP32s back up here, because they're not going to be used because I'm using the controller. I'm honestly still stoked that I got the controller working with this little ESP, because so for that, okay, so I've got 3 here. I've got this one for the computer, I've got this one for the bed sensors, I've got another project here that's going on, and then I've got this ESP here, which is for the mobility scooter that I'm heavily modifying. And I was just coming over here for a sec to point something else out. I don't know. Oh. Well, I guess in that case, that's the end of this little update. But yeah, so that's that little update in case I forgot to show you anything last night. Oh, that's right. Okay, so I got these little boardy things, and so of course I'm going to hook it up onto this ESP here, and that's how I'm going to essentially be putting all of the circuits together. Now, I will admit, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to make it permanent, because this is the 4th or 5th time I've completely overhauled that mobility scooter. I think I've even done modifications and stuff where I haven't even vlogged it or anything. This is the bit of plexiglass I got. So funny thing, I try not to be a hoarder, but as you can see, I've got a lot of crap. But I cleared this area. I'm doing well. I'm a recovering hoarder. So that piece of plexiglass, I don't even know where I got it, but I got it like 7 years ago. And it came with me when I moved to this house, and I've looked at it a couple of times for a couple of projects, and I've been like, could use it for that, but I'd only cut a small piece out, and I don't want to be cutting into it in case I have a project in the future that is able to utilize practically the whole thing. And I'm finally at that point. I've finally, after saving that for 7 years, having no clue what it could be used for, what, why, where, how, and I finally got it. I finally figured it out. So it's going to be for that mobility scooter. It's going to be for the floor, and it's going to go out forward, and then it's going to come up and over the front wheels and, go down the other side. I'm also going to be putting on 2 of these lights on the front of the mobility scooter. So obviously aiming forwards because they're the driving lights. And then I'm going to be putting a handful of LEDs and stuff around the bottom of it. I think for that plexiglass, I might use my router tool thing, and then I'll double stack the LEDs so they're both facing in and out. It might double the brightness. I'm not sure if I want to make them their own segments or if I want them to be matching. Well, at least if I wire them up separately, I can use the software, use the code to make them as matching sequences, whereas if I just make them matching sequences from the start and then I change my mind, I can't change it. So I'll make them matching sequences, and I'm thinking I'm going to use the router to essentially outline the plexiglass, and this is just so that I can put the LEDs like embedded in the plexiglass. Actually, how deep is it? Ah, shit, it's not even that thick, actually. Okay, I think I'm just going to have to come up with something, do some tests, see how things are going to actually sit and work out. Because, this isn't some YouTuber making a fun little video for people to watch and be like, oh, whoa. Because in those videos, these YouTubers, they're only making things work as long as their video is up. This isn't a long-term sustainable thing. When I'm making these videos, I'm expecting this thing to either stay working forever or not, And so this thing, I basically want it to be in the position where, I'm not going to sell it, but if I were to sell it, that I'd just be able to just sell it and not worry about someone coming back in a week saying, hey, this bit fell off, this bit is not doing that, and it's no longer working, and this isn't doing this. That's why I've spent so much time on the code. Most of the time, it's just debugging and, making sure that it's not just going to die randomly. Admittedly, I did have a couple of points where everything just sort of froze and locked up, but the code is going way smoother now, so I'm not actually too worried about that anymore. That being said, I gotta go to work. I'm gonna go to work, and I'm not entirely sure when the next little update is, but I hope you're enjoying it so far. But yeah, really stoked that I managed to get that controller working with very minimal AI use, I'll admit, right at the beginning, I spent about 20 minutes just fully typing out exactly what I wanted it to be able to do in great detail, blah, blah, blah. And of course, ChatGPT is just like, oh, let's do it like this. And it was completely wrong. It misinterpreted things I said, even though I asked it to ask me questions to make sure that it knew what I was saying. And I went back through what I had written, and it seemed to make sense, especially if I broke it up into little chunks. It seemed to make sense, but it's a very just simple AI system. Especially compared to what's coming in the future, today's AI is very basic. We're baby steps, but things are about to get up and start freaking sprinting soon. AI is going nuts. People have no idea how crazy it's going, but also people don't have any idea of how simple AI is. It is just algorithms and stuff. I remember in 2010, someone made an algorithm to do something automatically, and then everyone called it AI until a couple years later when people are like, oh no, that's not AI anymore. And this was called a smartwatch from the very beginning, and they're like, oh hey, look at this cool smartwatch, and then a couple years later they're like, oh, that's actually not a smartwatch. So you just gotta be aware that this AI thing, it's a pretty fluid thing. You think genders are confusing? Try keeping up with what's considered AI and what isn't, because there isn't a direct line drawn. If you look into any of this AI stuff too closely, it just all comes back down to algorithms and code. At the end of the day, you know, I guess your microwave's got AI because it's got an algorithm in it to count down from whatever number you set it. I'm going to stop talking. But yeah, I'm off to work.